Hello everyone, Azu Sapphire here. This is Catalpa, my trusty desktop computer, and I have it unplugged and out at my bedroom door right now because we're going to be upgrading it with two newish parts. Well, I say newish because they were given to me by my uncle who had just upgraded his computer and pretty much built a new one. So the first part we're going to be upgrading is the power supply. It's not a Corsair HX1000i, this is just the box to his power supply that he got. But I got his old power supply, the EVGA 850 GT. I needed a second power supply anyway, because I've been looking for a power supply for my ideal 2010 PC that I've been working on, but I've had no luck finding a good enough power supply or a case that'll fit what I'm aiming for locally. And also, I'm going to need a power supply of this capacity for the other upgrade that we're going to be doing. Yeah, none of the cables are plugged in right now, but I got all the cables that I need anyway. And even if I didn't, I have some spare 750 GT cables. They're basically the same power supply, just that the 750 GT has less wattage. 750 watts is what my current power supply is, but you're going to see that it's not an EVGA unit. And the other upgrade that I'm going to be doing is this. It's a triple fan GPU, a pretty large one. This is an MSI Ventus 3X GeForce RTX 3080 Ti, the OC model, apparently. Then again, I think almost every GPU these days is an OC model out of the box. This is a very nice GPU. It was like, what, $1,200 when my uncle got it back in August of 2022. And yeah, the 3080 Ti was really expensive compared to the 3080, which was listed for $700. But as y'all would know, if you were around at that time, the 3080 could never be found for MSRP because the GPU scalper pandemic was a thing. And it uses two 8-pin connectors and takes up 2.5 PCIe slots. This is a 350 watt card. It requires quite a lot of power. And I also got the support bracket with it, which, yeah, I don't know if this bracket is the best, but I don't have anything in the slots anyway, because modern motherboards barely even have PCIe slots anymore. And now let's turn my desktop over so we can see what's in it right now. Okay, here's my totally epic side panel. Let's undo this. This can come off now. Here's my current power supply. It's a Seasonic Focus Plus Gold 750FX. It's been a good power supply, although the leads for the PCIe have been a little wacky. Like, if I use this lead over here, then it's not exactly the most stable, at least with the 8-pin. I tried it with the 6-pin with the HD7870 that I got for my P55 build, and that worked just fine, but that uses two 6-pins. And I only tested it in here because at the time I got it, I was at my grandma's and I didn't have anything else to test it in. Oh yes, the current GPU. You can see that it's a much shorter power color Radeon. This is a RX 9060 XT. It's the 16GB VRAM model. Decent GPU. I can't say I've been the most thrilled with it, but I haven't been dissatisfied. Admittedly, I really only got this one because I was upsold. And also, I was kind of rushed into buying a GPU. Originally, I wanted to get a 9070, but at the time that I was buying this, which was in November, it was reported that GPU prices were going to be skyrocketing anytime soon. And I was like, oh, I gotta buy sooner rather than later because I don't want to be paying scalper prices. And I almost got an ARC-B 580, but I was pretty heavily talked out of it because the 9060 exists. And also, on the day I bought this 9060, I was just able to afford it because I'd gotten just enough money from a Haswell HP desktop that I sold. It's a pretty small card, but it's a pretty good looking one too. I thought this card was a lot uglier when I had it in the first few months because I never took off like the shrink wrap that was protecting it. I don't know why I never took it off, but whatever. Also, I'm going to compare it to the 3080 Ti. Yeah, the 3080 Ti is quite a bit bigger. Hopefully I can fit the 3080 Ti without having to remove my hard drive cage. Okay, yeah, I think it gets positioned over here. It gets positioned on the lower slot and then takes up the next two. I think we can leave the blanks there. They're not really in the way of anything. At least I don't think so. Actually, no, I think we should install the 3080 Ti first. And take off this cover that I took off my uncle's 5080. Oh, yeah, this definitely should get some support, which is why we have the bracket here. Okay, I see. We gotta take off one more screw. Gotta align this like such. Oh yeah, that's a lot better than what I was trying to do before. Okay, there we go. I now have the 3080 Ti installed. Looking pretty good now. Definitely looks more in place with this hardware than the 9060 did. Not that the 9060 is a bad looking card, but it's like maybe a little bit out of place in a system like this. With a 12600K and a dual tower air cooler and an ROG motherboard and all this other stuff. This would probably be better suited to my cousin's HP Omen 25L with an i5 10400. There might be a bit of a CPU bottleneck. Honestly, for the games he plays, the 10400 is plenty, and even the 1660 Super is fine, but I'd rather this be used in his computer, and then move his 1660 Super over to my uncle's ITX box, which currently has my old GTX 750. Okay, we got the GPU installed, but we need to change out the power supply, and this is going to be a bit more work. Also, wouldn't you know it, the GPU fits perfectly fine in here. I think if I still had the Corsair Spec 02, then this would be running into the hard drive cage. But it's not a problem. I have the Spec 02 holding my other cousin's computer built with an 11700K, and that has a 6700 XT in it, and that fits perfectly fine. Now we want to undo the power supply here. We want to install the new one. And because these are both from different ODMs, different manufacturers, brands, probably all of them, we're not going to be reusing these cables. I'm going to reuse the Seasonic power supply and Seasonic cables in my Ideal 2010 PC. Yeah, this power supply is from 2018, 2019. I bought it brand new in August of 2019. When it comes to power supplies, the newer and safer the better, regardless of time accuracy. And also that Ideal 2010 PC isn't even that time accurate anyway, because that's where the HD 7870 is going. Okay, I've undone all the cables. Don't know if you can see any of that, but here's the ratings and the model number. I'm going to have to undo my back panel as well so I can remove these cables. Getting to the CPU cable is going to be a little annoying as well, but it's not a big deal. There's at least room to get my hands in here without scraping them, unlike the Spec 02. Okay, I got one out. Motherboard cable out too. Undo all the SATAs as well. Okay, I undid that SATA for the hard drive. Let's undo the one for the hot swap rack. Okay, that came out just fine. Okay. Both the CPU power cables are out. I think that's all the power supply cables undone, actually. Yeah, PCIEs are undone, CPU, motherboard, and SATAs. Okay, yeah. I have two separate SATA leads, because they don't quite reach from the optical drive to the hard drive. Moving the side panel is a little more annoying. There's not a lot of room to shove cables in the back, so I pretty much have to, like, brute force the side panel on. Well, the rear side panel. I think I have these twist tied. I'm gonna have to move this forward so I can reach these cables. This one doesn't branch off. I'm going to plug it in on the left side. Okay, hopefully that's not straining the cable too much. Hopefully if I use this side, then it's not going to have problems unlike my 750FX Seasonic. It's possible that I might have another one of these non-branched PCIe leads for the 750 GT, but I'm just going to use this one that already came with the 850 GT. Plug this in and just leave this ugly cable hanging around. You're not even going to see the inside of this anyway, or I'm not going to be seeing it anyway because my side panel doesn't have a window. Okay, here's everything. I got the rear side panel back on after some brute forcing. I had to get it off this Dell Precision 410 and really get it back on there, but hopefully I won't have to remove that back panel for quite a while. This power supply I'm definitely going to be keeping. At least I hope so. I hope my uncle doesn't return all his 9950X3D2 and 5080 stuff. And the funny thing about this 3080 Ti compared to that 5080 is that the 5080's PCB is like comically short compared to this. And also that 5080 is lighter. It's also an MSI 3 fan model, but also that 5080 is bigger and thicker than this. This GPU is more dense than that. And I guess that makes sense because GA102 is overall a larger GPU than GB203 or whatever the 5080 uses. Although the 5080 is definitely more powerful than the 3080 Ti. Anyway, let's get this button back up and back into my setup. Okay, I plugged my desktop back in and I think I flicked the power supply switch, so let's turn this on. I didn't even flick the switch. Okay, so far so good. I know this stuff works. It worked before my uncle took it out. Okay, we're getting video output. No video output in Windows. I'm getting a caps lock response. I ran display driver uninstaller ahead of time and also downloaded the Nvidia driver but didn't install it yet. I heard my login sound that I set up once I entered my PIN blindly, so it's definitely a display problem. I'm going to enable VGA mode, get 640 by 480 video output in the hopes that I can at least get into the desktop, and we're working just fine. Let's go into Task Manager and look at the hardware monitor. There's the RTX 3080 Ti, 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I am aware that it is less than the 16 gigabytes that's on my 9060, but I think the raw performance of this card should make up for that. And also some things just might work better on Nvidia. One of those things I think is BeamNG. Oh, gross. This is the light hash rate model. It's okay. This was made in 2022 and is a post-mining era card. 2021 511 is the BIOS date, so the BIOS is still original. Looking pretty good. Light hash rate is gross, but again, these cards might not even be profitable for mining anymore, and light hash rate only matters for mining. Anyway, what I gotta do, go to display settings, advanced display, change it from that unacceptable 60 hertz.
This is unacceptable!
To the much very good acceptable 180 hertz.
Acceptable.
And there we go. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the upgrade and this video, and as always, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out.